المصطفى محمد
اللهم صل
وعلى آل بيته الطاهرين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين ولعنة الله على القوم الظالمين من الأولين والآخرين. أما بعد، صلى الله عليك يا أبا عبد الله، صلى الله عليك يا ابن رسول الله، يا رحمة الله الواسعة ويا باب نجاة الأمة ويا عبرة لكل مؤمن ومؤمنات، غريب مظلوم كربلاء فيا ليتني يا ليتني كنا معكم سادتي فنفوز فوزا عظيما. قال الله الحكيم في محكم كتابه الكريم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم: ويوم يحشرهم كأن لم يلبثوا إلا ساعة من النهار. صدق الله العلي العظيم. الصلوات. السلام عليكم. The path to Abu Abdullah is one which cannot be travelled to in silence, as we discussed yesterday. You cannot walk the path of being a Husseini in silence. You must speak out at dhulm like Hussein spoke out. And as Abu Abdullah said, if you're going to walk my path, Amr bil Ma'ruf wa Nahi anil Munkar. All of these are necessary if you wish to walk the path of being a Husseini. And it's an important path to walk and a beautiful path to walk. Because without Abu Abdullah, what is the purpose of life in this world? Without Hussein, what is there for you in this dunya? This world with its darkness, the endless nights of this world, full of people asleep in Jahiliyyah, unaware of the light of guidance. In this endless night of this dunya, Inna al-Husaynu misbahul huda. Abu Abdullah is the shining lantern of guidance in the world of darkness. You know, this world which we're in, even if you try and step into it, it pulls you down and drowns you within it. Endlessly. An endless ocean of sin and attachment and dunya. But in this endless ocean of this world, Inna al-Husaynu safinatun najah. Hussein is this ark of salvation. That whilst we are drowning without air, we grab onto this ship and it takes us towards Jannah. That's Abu Abdullah. So, this path, this journey which we are in of being a Husseini is an important path. But it's also difficult. It's not always easy to be a Husseini. It's a path of imtihan and difficulty. Abu Abdullah himself, Imam Hussein says, that when the religion is easy, the believers are many. But when it becomes difficult, the true mu'mineen are few. And look how few he had. 72 people amongst the entire ummah of the followers of Rasulullah left with Abu Abdullah. It's a difficult path to be a Husseini if you're going to commit to it properly. But it's a rewarding path. Imam Ali says that this path is long and the provision is little and the company is lonely, but the reward is Allah. So this is the path. If any of you are wondering that I really want to be a Husseini, I want to, in dunya and akhirah, but it's hard. What if I slip up? What if I make mistakes? Am I still allowed to travel with everyone else to Hussein when I know my sins better than everyone? For these people who are wondering, truly, is this path for me and will I be committed to it? You have one hope which comes in the form of the example of Hur ibn Yazid al-Riyahi. Hur. You are wondering, can I travel this path? Hur wasn't even on the path, but Hussein let him join. And the moment he joined, he was with everybody else in the highest maqam in Jannah. Hur, the great example. But Hur is just more than an example. You know, Hur, he has this one line which he says in Karbala, which within it he exposes the true reality of your life as a Husseini. One sentence Hur says answers for you every question you might have if you are slipping and want to get back up. What does Hur say, which within it contains with the hidden realities of dunya and akhirah? This is where we'll begin our discussion today. If you are with me, Sallallahu Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. It's the 9th of Muharram, night time, pitch black, in the camps of Umar ibn Sa'ad. Hur is within his tent. Hur, up until now, has met Imam al-Hussein at least 5 times on the way to Karbala. And he's met him, and he's been learning from him, and slowly his heart is turning towards Abu Abdullah. Slowly. And he has this moment where he has this realization. It all clicks for him in 1 second. And he articulates that moment in the following words. فَقَالَ الْحُرُّ إِنِّي أَخَيَّرُ نَفْسِي بَيْنَ الْجَنَّةِ وَالنَّارِ. I have placed my soul in between heaven and hell. وَاللَّهُ لَا أَخْتَارُ عَلَى الْجَنَّةِ شَيْئًا وَلَوْ أَحْرَقَتْ. And I will not abandon heaven even if my body is burnt to pieces. Let's stop for 1 second. You know that first sentence? Within it is such great depth. Inni akhayyaru nafsi bayna al-jannah wan nar. I have placed my soul in between heaven and hell. Where will I go? Left or right? Right, towards Abu Abdullah's camp. Left, to make my horse ready to fight against Hussein. In this one moment, Hur has said something with true magic for every single one of you. You know, let me just break it down like this. Every word of this one sentence is valuable for you. Listen to the way I'm saying it. Inni akhayru nafsi bayna al-jannah wan nar. I have placed my soul between heaven and hell. When Hur says I, what does he see himself as? What is I when Hur says it? What is I when you say I? Now listen again. Inni akhayyaru nafsi bayna al-jannah wan nar. I have placed my soul in between heaven and hell. How do you place your soul? Where is Hur standing from which he can see his soul as separate to him? Where is he? I'll say it one more time. Inni akhayyaru nafsi bayna al-jannah wan nar. The same sentence. I have placed my soul in between heaven and hell. Where is between heaven and hell? Where is heaven? Where is he standing that he can see in front of him heaven and hell and himself right here? If I have your permission, we'll engage in this discussion. Do I have your attention, inshallah? Sallallahu Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Okay. Hur says, I have placed my soul in between heaven and hell. What does he mean when he says I? And when you say, I want to be a Husseini, what do you mean when you say I? Now a person might say, Hur might mean, this is my father, this is my mother, I'm from this tribe, I'm from this background, this is my age. When you are raised up after death, none of these things matter. None of them. The only thing which defines who you are when you die and are raised up is your amal. Your actions. Nothing more. And in barzakh, when you then go for your hisab, the only thing you see is your amal. So when Hur says I, and when you say I, all you are referring to is your amal, your actions. But also within your amal there is your ilm, your knowledge. Because the two come from the same roots, ayn, mim, lam. Ilm and amal are always together. Your actions and your knowledge are one. Whatever you do on this earth, whatever you believe in your heart on this earth, that's all you are. Nothing else matters. Okay. Here I would like to make a point, but it requires a little bit of philosophical reasoning. May I make this argument, inshallah? When I say, I know something, what exactly am I saying? If I said, I know this glass, 3 things are involved in this one sentence. I, the knower, I know this glass. I know this glass, the object, the knower and the object, and the ilm of the object. You're following? Always there are 3, the knower, the object, and the ilm of the object. Another example. I know this book. Who is the knower? Me. What is the object? The book. And what's the knowledge? The knowledge of the book. Yeah? I know Brother Hasnain. I know him. Who's the knower? Me. Who's the object? Him. And what's the knowledge between us? My knowledge of him. You're following, okay? Always there are 3. The knower, the object, and the ilm of the object. Fine. Always 3. Knower, object, knowledge. Knower, object, fine. What if I said, I know myself? Who is the knower? Myself. What's the object? Myself. What is the knowledge of? Myself. Ma'rifat of nafs is the only example where you are at one with your ilm. You are your knowledge. There is no difference. For everything else, I'm separate. But when you said, I know myself, you are at one with your ilm. All you are is your knowledge. You study to be a doctor. You become a doctor. You fill your heart with kindness. You become a kind person. You fill your heart with the love of Ali. You become an ashiq of Ali. You fill your mind with ma'rifah of Hussein. You become an azadar of Hussein. Whatever you put in your mind and your heart, you become. So this means fill your heart with the most beautiful things, you will become the most beautiful being. Choose beauty internally and it will come out naturally. There is no gap. Whatever you put in your mind, you become that thing. And so, why would you not put anything in except love of Hussein? If it's that simple, that I just have to fill myself and, tip myself until there's nothing left except knowledge of Hussein, I will become Husseini naturally. Let me give you one example. What's the example? How when you fill yourself with something, you become that thing. It becomes part of who you are. When you die, you go to the grave. And the hadith say that 6 figures enter the qabr with you while you're lying there. Over here, 1. Over here, another. By your legs, another 2. 1 lying at your feet. And then one final 6th figure, this being, enters the grave with you. And the 6th is the most beautiful being of all of them. So here you are, lying in your grave, surrounded by these beings you didn't know even came in with you. And you will say to the angels, who are these beings? And the answer will come, this one here, this is your namaz that you read, your salah. This one here is the zakat which you paid. The one here by your left leg, that one is the hajj and umrah you went on. And the one here is the fasting which you did. And the 5th figure lying near your feet is the amal bil ma'ruf wa nahi anil munkar which you did. But then you will say, fine, but there is this 6th one which is more beautiful than all of them. And when the 6th being entered the qabr, it was filled with light. And the others became more beautiful when it entered. The answer will come, this final figure of utmost beauty is the wilayat of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Because you had it in dunya, it became part of you. It's not separate to you. Love for Ali becomes part of your wujud. And then you enter the grave and it stays with you. So if you want Ali to be in your qabr with you, you must have Ali outside of the qabr. But what's the argument we keep saying? When I say I mean wherever I put in, it becomes part of me. Love for Ali becomes part of you. This is why to be a Husseini, you have to fill yourself with ma'rifah of Hussein. True ma'rifah, true knowledge. And it will automatically shine. And not just shine, it stays with you until the end. Right at the end, it is with you. When you're worried, will my sins tip me over the balance? The azaa of Hussein will help you then. What does the Imam say? We don't worry for our Shi'as except in Barzakh. After Barzakh, don't worry, they're fine. It's the suffering before which we worry about, which our sins have done. Let me give you one more example on this. Read the salawat, please. Example number one. What I'm trying to prove to you is that when Hur says, I have placed my soul between heaven and hell, he means that he is slowly learning more and more about Hussein. And the more he learns about Hussein, the more he loves Hussein. Until he is so full with the love and wafa of Hussein, he will leave his army just to join Hussein. What's the example? Ayatollah Mashhur is in Iraq. He's a scholar. He falls asleep. In his dream, he sees a friend of his, Mirza Mahlaki, another alim who lives in Baghdad. So he's very far away from him. But he sees him in this dream. He says to him, oh, I saw you only about a few weeks ago. Where are we? He's told, Agha, I have died this night. Come with me. So he walks alongside his friend who has just died a few hours ago. As they're walking, the angels keep coming to Mirza, to his friend who's died, and they keep doing ziyarat of him. The angels. And Allah sends 1,000 angels just to follow them. And while they're walking, the gardens of heaven appear as his friend is walking ahead. So he says, stop for a second. Agha, you are a great scholar. I have utmost respect for you. But what did you do that now the angels do your ziyarat in heaven? Is it because you recited the Jum'ah khutbah in your masjid? Is it because you wrote extensively, you lectured, you taught? I'm a scholar too. Tell me the secrets. What can I do to be like you? And the answer came, the reason why I have this maqam where the angels do my ziyarat is because none of the things you mentioned. It's because for 30 years I regularly recited ziyarat Ashura of Abu Abdullah. Just because of this. And when I was sick, I made sure somebody else read on my behalf. And just because I recited the dhikr of Hussein in this form, the angels do my ziyarat. When Hur says, I have placed my soul between heaven and hell, what he means is, I have done the dhikr of Hussein. And I can be nowhere except behind Hussein. Yes, and this is wafadari, the loyalty of Hur. Okay. I have placed my soul between heaven and hell. What does this mean? In this moment, Hur has decided to take responsibility of his life. It's as if every step he's taking has led him to this moment, on the 9th of Muharram, where he's between the most evil and the most beautiful option. Here he stands. He can't go back because tomorrow's Ashura. And he can't ignore this choice. Maybe this happens to you sometimes in your life where if there are things in your life which are troubling you, and it feels like they're getting too much, sometimes you have to choose between them in one moment of difficulty. It's a real imtihan when it happens. If you're choosing between family and friends, or between work and life, or deen and ghair deen, it can get quite difficult. See how Hur deals with it. Here he is in this one moment. It's as if time has stopped, and within 1 second he sees all of Akhirah in front of him. How? Have you heard the statement, time is relative? You've heard this, yeah? For example, this life might seem long, but talk to someone who's on their grave, on their deathbed, and they'll tell you this life was nothing. I wasted it. It was a second. When you die, you go to Barzakh. When you look back, this dunya was like a second. Nothing. And when you go for your hisab and you see all your actions, it looks even shorter. The further you get from your life, the smaller and smaller it is. It looks like you lived. The verse of Quran which I mentioned, that this whole world is illa sa'atan min an-nahar. On the day of judgment, when you look back, it's like you lived for just 1 hour. So, sometimes a decision of eternity occurs within 1 moment and happen to Hur. And it can happen to every single one of you. How? In Ziyad Ashura we say, Allahumma ja'alni indaka wajihan bil Husayn. You know what this means? It means, Ya Allah, you're saying this in this Ziyad. If Hussein should look at me, he should like what he sees. If Hussein turns his watch, his attention towards me, he should be pleased with what he sees, even if he looks for just 1 second, 1 moment. But the question then is, if Hussein should acknowledge me and look at me, what must I do that he is pleased with me? Ziyad continues, وَثَبِّتْ لِي قَدْمَ صِدْقٍ مَعَ الْحُسَيْنِ فِي الدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةِ. Thabbitli, make my feet honest and firm, walking the footsteps of Hussein. These feet, these legs which I walk with, make them honest and true. Where? Fi dunya wal akhirah. In both dunya and akhirah. When was this? 2 years ago I was in Karbala for the Ashura. Alhamdulillah. And every day at Fajr, after Salat al-Fajr, they recite Ziyad Ashura, which they do, all around the world. In the Haram of Atfal al-Abbas, I noticed something. The reciter reads all of Ziyad Ashura. When he gets to this line, for some reason he kept crying. This line. He's reading about Abu Abdullah, he's reading about the Ziyad, fine. وَثَبِّتْ لِي قَدْمَ صِدْقٍ مَعَ الْحُسَيْنِ. Make my feet honest and true for the sake of Hussein. And I started to think, why this line? Of all of the lines, you've read Ziyad al-Ashura, you know how heart-rendering and heartbreaking this ziyarat is. Why this line? Then I remembered a different line in Ziyarat Arba'in, which is a sign of a Shia to read on the day of Arba'in, in which we say, فَمَعَكُمْ مَعَكُمْ لَا مَعَ عَدُوَّكَ. Abu Abdullah, no, I am with you, I am yours. I have given myself to you. I have sold myself to you. When we say that Hur had 1 moment choosing between heaven and hell, what we mean is Hur was going to sell himself. Either he sells himself to Yazid or sells himself to Hussein. You have a choice. To whom do I sell myself? Abu Abdullah answers for you. What does he say? He says, do you not know that the value of your souls is Jannah? So do not sell yourself for anything less than Jannah. 1 moment, that's all it takes, just 1 second. And in this second, Hur sees everything. But the most important part of what he says is the last part. I have placed my soul between heaven and hell. Where is between heaven and hell? Let me ask you a question. Right now, when Hur says this, where is he? Forget where he is. Where is heaven and where is hell? Is heaven up there somewhere? Is hell down here? Where is heaven and where is hell, where Hur is standing directly in between them? While you're thinking this, hear this narration from Imam Ja'far Sadiq alayhi salam. Sadiq al-Muhammad says that there will come a day when the trumpet will sound and Israel will take the lives of every living being on earth. Then he will go to the heavens, to the 7th level, and take the life of everyone within that level. Then he'll go to the 6th level and take their life. He'll go up and up and up until the heavens are empty of beings. Then he will take the life of Jibreel, of Israfil. Then he himself will die. Then death will die. Then there will be nothing. When? At the end of the days of this universe, there'll be completely nothing. Except, of course, the wajh of Allah. In this moment where there is nothing, there will be an evolution of reality. Dunya's gone. People are gone. Nothing exists except Allah. But in this moment, from where dunya used to be, akhirah will evolve. from this earth, from the existence which is already here, Allah will extract from within it the reality of Akhirah. Have you not heard that every atom does tasbih of Allah? What does this mean? We find out that day. Every atom will be opened up. Have you not heard every animal does tasbih of Allah? Can we speak the language of the animals? No. On that day, every being will evolve to do dhikr of Allah openly. Everything changes. And in the place of dunya, from dunya, akhirah is formed. Jannah is formed from dunya. In Quran we read, وَإِذَا الْأَرْضُ مُدَّتْ, the earth is extended open. And from within it, وَلَقَدْ مَا فِيهَا تَخَلَّتْ, everything what was inside is now made dhahir for the first time. Where did akhirah come from? From within the dunya. So I ask you again, now it becomes harder. When Hur says, I am standing between heaven and hell, how can he say he's between heaven and hell when heaven and hell don't even exist yet? There is no heaven and there is no hell. And Hur sees himself between them. Two answers. First answer, which could be where Hur is. I'll ask you another question. Right now, where are Ali Muhammad? Where are they? Are they in hell? Are they in heaven? Where are they? Right now, where are the enemies of Hussein? Abu Abdullah is in Medina. He goes to sleep. In a dream, he sees his grandfather Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He says, Hussein, I wish to show you where you will be one day. Look. Behind him is Ja'far al-Tayyar, Imam Ali, and all of the thrones of heaven. He says, now I wish for you to see where your enemies shall be. Rasulullah hits his foot against the ground and a crack appears. Under the ground, another crack, another crack, another crack, until right down in the deepest, darkest pit of hell, he sees Shimr bin Dil-Jawshan there and Yazid. Not alone. Along with all of those ones who did the dhulm before them. Ashqal akhirin yatba'u ashqal awwaleen. The most evil who follow the example of the earlier evil. All of this happened where? In heaven and hell. But it's not been created yet. It happened within the heaven and hell of Barzakh. In our narrations, Barzakh is not just some place you go to in your grave. Alam-e Barzakh. And within Barzakh there is its own heaven and its own hell. Ahlul Bayt say this. And within the Barzakh of heaven right now is, for example, Ali Muhammad. And right now within the hell of Barzakh are the enemies of Ahlul Bayt. When Israel blows the trumpet, everything is destroyed, and in the place of the temporary Jannah becomes that Jannah for which they say Hum fiha khalidun. And in the place of Jahannam the same thing happens. Jahannam now, which exists in this moment, is destroyed. And in its place an eternal Jahannam is formed, where the enemies have an eternal abode. Hur, in this moment, sees the heaven and hell in front of him. A brief moment where it's opened up for him. And he sees on one side are the lovers of Hussein in Jannah. The mother of Hussein, the father of Hussein, the grandfather of Hussein, all of them are waiting in Jannah. And on the other hand, he sees the enemies of Hussein and those dhulm, those who planted the seeds of Karbala when they were in power. He sees them both. And he says, I am in between them. Either I follow the son of Banu Umayyah when I can see Banu Umayyah in hell, or I follow the son of Zahra when I can see Zahra at Kawthar. Who do I choose? This is one answer. The other answer is much more deeper. Where does heaven come from? From within this universe. Maybe Hur, in this moment of clarity, has seen Akhirah within dunya. Now that's quite deep. What does it mean? Ask Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq alayhi salam. Imam as-Sadiq says that within this dunya is Akhirah. You will find it when you follow the blessings of dunya. So someone said to him, but where does this, what do you mean? Where does Akhirah come from? Akhirah and dunya. We don't see it. He says, have you seen the egg? Inside the egg there is only white and yellow. But if you don't touch it, from it comes many colors erupting and exploding into life. In the same way, this dunya contains with it things you cannot see. But the moment Allah wishes, He will from this dunya open it up and reveal to you the realities of the world. Let me tell you the realities. Ahlul Bayt, they can see this always. We can see it sometimes. Very rarely. Hur sees it in this moment. Imam Ali is in Medina. He's feeling very sad. People have abandoned him. He's with Salman. He says, Salman, come with me. He takes his hands and digs a hole in the ground and puts his hands within the ground. Imam Ali buries his hand in the ground. Salman says, what are you doing? He responds, I have so much to give, but the people will not accept me. The earth understands me more than the people. And so I give my blessing to the earth. Ahlul Bayt see the realities in front of them always. We see it sometimes. Hur, in this one moment, has seen one veil has been lifted in front of him, and he sees in front of him Akhirah. The Holy Prophet has a narration where he says there are some people, their bodies are in dunya, just like ours, but their hearts have already reached Akhirah. They've already reached. Those of you who were here in the first majlis, I remember I mentioned one narration. Abu Abdullah just reaches Karbala. I think I mentioned this, yeah? The moment he enters, what does he say? It's as if there had never been any dunya and only akhirah. Now we understand it a little bit better. What does Hussein see? Hussein is seeing akhirah in front of him. He sees heaven, he sees hell, he sees all. And the closer you are to Hussein, the more you see. So in ending, I say to all of you, that if you want to be on the path of a Husseini, and you are slipping, you are making mistakes, don't worry. Hur made many mistakes, but the moment he turned his face towards Hussein, Hussein revealed the universe to him. And so we close by saying, we pray we are those people that just like Hur walked the path of Husseini, we should walk the same path of being Husseini, inshallah. Sallallahu Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Let us now briefly turn to the Azaa of Imam al-Hussein and close. Azadar al-Hussein, after Hur says this sublime words, he gets on his horse and he just stands for a second. He doesn't ride anywhere. I think that he got off his horse and walked to Imam al-Hussein. But while he's walking, he must have been thinking that why would Hussein accept me? Me, coming from the enemy, will he accept me? And he's walking with great khawf and fear. While he's walking, he sees Abu Fadl Abbas in front of him. Abbas who defends the tent of Sayyidah Zainab. Always Abbas is patrolling. Abbas says, where are you going? Hur says, I wish to meet your master. Fadl Abbas turns and says, Ya Abu Abdullah, Hur has come to see you. Hussein himself walks towards Hur to meet him. When Hur walks to Abu Abdullah, the narration says that he falls to the ground and holds the feet of Hussein and says, my Aqa Hussein, will you forgive me for what I have done? I abandoned you, but now I wish to be loyal to you. When he says, Hussein says, my brother Hur, of course, join us, be with us, fight with us. Hur is very ashamed, so he's looking down. He says, Ya Abu Abdullah, I have 3 things which I must say to you. Please will you hear me? Hussein says, yes, tell me what are those things. Hur says, the first thing which I wish to tell you is that I have come to lay down my life for you. Will you accept me to be shaheed alongside you, Ya Abu Abdullah? Hussein says, look around, Hur, all of us have come for shahada. Do you see Habib? He has come to die for Allah. Do you see Abbas? He has come to die for this religion. So Hur, you are welcome with us. The more that you come, the more we accept you. What is the second thing? Hur says, Ya Abu Abdullah, I have brought my young Jawan son with me. If you allow me to die, will you allow my Jawan son to die? Hussein is silent. Why? Because Hussein also brought one Jawan son with him to die in Karbala. And if Hur loves his son, how much does Hussein love Ali Akbar? That when he looks at him, he sees the face of his grandson
Muhammad? Who replies, yes. Can my son fight? Hussein is silent. Why? Because not only has he brought a Jawan son, Hussein has brought a 6-month-old to die for the sake of his religion. Hussein says, yes, Hur, of course, your son can die as well. Then Hur says, I have one third request. What is it? He says, earlier when I was traveling, you were thirsty and I didn't give you water. And now I hear the noise, Al-Atash, Al-Atash. Maybe your sister Zainab is upset with me. Give me the chance to apologize to her. I just wish to say sorry to Zainab. When he says this, Hussein says, go apologize. Hur says, Assalamu alayka ya binti Fatima. Salam upon you, the daughter of Fatima. Accept my apologies on this day, Ya Abu Abdullah. And then the next day, Hur fights. And he fights bravely. But I think this one sentence to Sayyidah Zainab is on his mind. He's always thinking of the regret he has. While he's fighting, the narration says one of the swords comes from behind and strikes Hur down to the ground. As he falls, he says, Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. Hussein runs from the camp towards him and says, Hur, your master is coming to get you. When he comes, he takes the head of Hur. Hur says, how lucky I am. The last face I will see is the face of the son of Zahra. But while he's saying this, blood is pouring from the neck of Hur. So Hussein takes a handkerchief and wraps it on the neck of Hur. But this handkerchief smells of a great fragrance, like it smells of Jannah. So Hur says, Ya Abu Abdullah, what is this you have tied to my neck? Hussein replies, my mother Zahra gave this cloth to me. And when I miss my mother, I smell this cloth to smell her fragrance. And now because you have died for my mother, take this cloth with you when you see her in Jannah. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Rida wa qada'ahi tasliman bi amrin. Allahumma inni as'aluka bi haqqi Fatimata wa biha ba'liha baniha wa sir musta'awduhu fiha an tusallam Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah. For the sake of Hur, forgive us for all of our sins, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, we are trying to be Hussein. If we make mistakes, guide us like you guided Hur, Ya Allah. And Ya Allah, just like you guided Hur that day to Hussein, guide us always under the son of Hussein, Imam al-Mahdi al-Qaim, inshaAllah. Wa akhiru da'an alhamdulillah, salawatullah Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.